Hi, it's Zish, Visionary Life Hacks, here to connect, here to inspire, here to be the change. If you're watching the live, welcome. If you're watching the replay, welcome. And if you share this, thank you for sharing. This is going to go up on the YouTube, so if you like more of this content, feel free to like, share and subscribe and all that funky business. Anyway, so if you're watching this, you already know, because it's going onto the YouTube, you already know that I work with the antique Tesla technology specifically from 1919. And it doesn't really stop there, because there's other ideas, because spirit is always seeking greater, fuller expression and expansion. And when you're learning something new, you get really inspired and you're like, wow, what is this? And then, this all kind of happened from studying the anti-nanotechnology. Thank you, Tony Pantalleresco, for making it really difficult on how to make an anti-nano bucket at the time. And I've got so much flack from the whole, it's come down to a bucket. And it was like, at that point in time, it had come down to a bucket, because lots of women, my friend Kirsty, had loads of spoons around her thyroid region, like here. She had spoons and she was going like this. And me and my mate Nick at the time were like, well, spoons aren't magnetizing on us. Even Dr. Robert Kazar from Hawaii was magnetic, and his skin was like opalescent. So I reckon that's a lot to do with a lot of the supplements those raw foodists are taking. A lot of the time have got silica in them. There could be some kind of direct correlation there. But anyway, so thank you, Tony, for making it very difficult on how to make an anti-nano bucket. It led me to ask the question, well, what is an anti-nano bucket? And from asking the question of what an anti-nano bucket was, I had to really learn about things like magnetism, which then led me down to the route of Ken Wheeler. I didn't understand a word of what he said. It was interesting what he was doing with the magnets and the alfalfa sprouts, but other than that, I couldn't understand a word of what he said. I was inspired by the great work, the works that he does, but it just went over my head. And I kind of say, if you can't explain it to a kid or your grandmother with a lot of things, really, like, maybe you're just too, like, some people are just so intelligent, you don't understand a word of what they say. But fortunate for me, I found Sir Eric Braithwaite. And Sir Eric Braithwaite was very clear on the fact, and he was working in the he was working in the Imperial College of London, making this amazing gyroscopic railway. And he was like, we don't actually know what magnetism is. And more recently, Margin Poles, if you haven't watched any of his documentaries, he did an amazing documentary, and they were like, we don't even know what water is. So I find all these things very fascinating, but also somebody like me that didn't do too well in school, it kind of gives me that driving force. Wow, he's a professor, he's a Sir Eric Braithwaite, they don't know what magnetism is. Okay, the guy that said they don't know what water is, I was like, right, this is great, I'm in great company. I think at that point, it allows you to be coachable and to learn something new. And when you learn something new, it's actually really good for the brain, it keeps the brain youthful. So when I got into this Tesla technology, learning about what magnetism is, I had to then ask, who is Tesla? And from there, then I met an amazing human being who started to educate me about like the fake red light, the true red light, the fake Rife machines, the true Rife machines. And then I ended up going right back in time, because I was asking the question, like, who's Tesla? And I stumbled across this technology, because essentially the anti-nano buckets and the triangles are similar principles of that technology. And I'm not the smartest man in the room, but it's definitely similar technology. It's based on Tesla's technology, like the bifilar and the pancake coils and the induction coils that are in a lot of the old technology. Old actually being the wrong word. But anyway, so today I was asked the question, what is good for inflammation? Also, I was asked about the difference in this technology, but today I'm going to focus on the inflammation. Now, it's important to know who Brother Zish is. Now, I'm somebody that's very picky and choosy about what I put into my body. For example, if you give me a supplement, I'm going to tear that supplement apart. I'm going to be looking for the binders, the fillers, the excipients, all that kind of rubbish, which I don't want in my body. I'm also going to be paying attention to if there's silica in there, because they put sneaky, they put silica in almost everything in a health food store. So I'm paying attention to what's in my supplement. I want to know what I'm supplementing into my life. It could be Tesla machine, it could be a guitar. You know, if you're going to get a guitar, you want a great guitar, don't you? You know, it's a supplement. You're supplementing it into your life. So if I'm going to bring in a nutraceutical supplement, I might be looking at something like this Time Health Chaga or Cordyceps sinensis. This is a great cordyceps. I know my cordyceps reasonably well. This is CS4, which is in some other formulas that I take. And I've got a practitioner account for this, and I get it like at trade price. So this goes, it's not even opened. I've always got one there ready to use. I've got wild Chaga. I like simple, keep it simple, stupid. I like to get simple nourishment from my food. Simple nourishment from my natural medicines. The reason I like natural medicines is because they're safe, they're effective, they're affordable in the sense of what is the cost, and they work. They work. I've got so many testimonials in my family alone of why things like Des Rosier essential oils are excellent. I don't get paid to tell you that Des Rosier essential oils are good, but from my experience, these are some of the best essential oils. If you've heard of doTERRA, if you've heard of Young Living, this, for me, is more affordable, and you get more oils for your money because it's not direct, what's it called? It's not network marketed. I have no issue with the distribution method of network marketing, but I don't want to be paying my upline. I'd rather be paying my family more essential oils. So I can get frankincense for the fraction of the cost, and the top 10 essential oils in the dispensary. Natural medicine. I'm looking at essential oils. I'm looking at how does this benefit my... Okay, sorry, I lost you for a second. I lost the reception for a second. So when I do... one minute. Let me just put something there. Let me put that there. God, I'm so not a what they called a diva person with my diva lamp and all my setup. Okay, so that's actually better. So when I'm doing, so anything that I'm doing, hi Patrick, anything that I do, 1 second, let me get a big piece of copper. Look at that piece of copper, put that there. Here we go, I've created my own low-tech space. So regarding inflammation, maybe Patrick can chime in here and might agree with me that everything that I do, as a positive side effect, is actually dialing in with inflammation. And Patrick will be going, Zish, I've been telling you to take your copper. Have you still not taken it? No, I haven't taken it yet, but I'm going to, I promise. I really am gonna do the copper, because I've been getting micronutrient elements of copper through my bee pollen. But I want to do, because I respect my brother Patrick, I am going to do the copper. I'm literally at a point right now where I'm getting myself better organised, because I've never been a 9-to-5 human being. I've just invested in this little app. It was about $5.99 one-time payment, and it means that I don't get shocked or anything. But I get accountability with this little app. And my mate recommended it, and I've literally got a list of new things, like read a book and, all these things that I've got to do every day for the next year. It's like, it's based on the Seinfeld strategy. It's a new thing. I want to show up better than I was yesterday, right? So I got to, if you want things in your life to change and you expect change, but you don't make change, well, that's insanity, isn't it? And I actually genuinely want change. So getting a bit of structure into my life, which includes Patrick's copper, I'm going to add copper to my list. Patrick, I'm going to add copper onto, in fact, I'm going to write it down right now. But anyway, today I'm talking about inflammation, is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this thing called, basically, everything I focus on, I mean, like, basically, I heard this wise saying, every master was once a disaster. And I can clearly say that I'm a bit of a disaster. It's okay. But I have got some things that actually genuinely do work. So, like, for me, if I focus on the great in food and the great in medicine and the great in technology, especially when we've had to deal with some craziness with the boogeyman during boogeyman season when everything dropped and there were specific bad actors that showed up and they heightened the boogeyman to the point where they provided you a solution for the boogeyman and it was less than favourable towards the human condition. I think a great thing that we can learn is something called sound mind, sound body. Sound body, sound mind. It's something that I'm burning in right now. I think it's an important thing to burn in. Sound mind, sound body. So whenever I bring something into my body, like a bone broth or an A2 dairy kefir or Patrick's recommendation of this copper, which is not health advice, but to me, when I meet a brother or a sister that's recommending something to me, like I said, I'm going to write it down, I would be a fool to not take heed and to take action on that. How long will it take for me to take action is another thing. It's something that I've got to add in, and when I do, I will do it, and I will do it relentlessly. So let me get my pen and pad. Where's my pen and pad? Anyway, we're talking about inflammation today. I really want to write this down. I'm going to write it. Look, I've just been working on a machine. I'm going to write this down now. Here you go. Here's my paper. Here's some paper. A bit of accountability going on here. Copper for the win, says Patrick. I know that this copper is really important, and I'm glad that Patrick. Look, it's 21:21. Let's go. Woohoo! See you for the win. Copper. Are you going to make the coffee? Add to my... I've got to add copper to my app. Take copper. Patrick swears by it. I'm going to add it. Look, Patrick, I've done it. Copper, add to my app. Here we go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to add it to my app straight after this. Okay, what? Let me find out what the app's called. Oh, I can't be asked. Do it in a bit. Okay, so when it comes to inflammation, when it comes to inflammation, things that spring to my mind are bone broth. Bone broth springs to mind. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, give me that. Right. That springs to mind. Pocari chocolate. What springs to mind is A2 dairy kefir. Fermented foods. Like, that comes to mind. If you've got a really bad case of inflammation, it's worth switching on, like asking the question, how am I to switch on my cellular health? Or you could now, with the advent of stem cells, say, how am I to switch on my stem cells? Or how am I to switch on my metabolism? So everything that I focus on with my technology focuses on the metabolism. Because if I'm bringing in something that is digital and it's fake, and diagnoses are kind of like fake and stupid and retarded, so isn't it better if I work with something that's noble, authentic, real, and doesn't judge me and supports where my human being is without me thinking I know what I am? or actually worse, letting someone else tell you what you are, what's wrong with you. Okay, we're just going to blend. 1 minute, we're blending. Worse, allowing somebody else to tell you what's wrong with you. So there was something else I was going to share about that particular technology, but it's the fact that it's like analog, right? It's analog, it's acoustic, but a lot of people are choosing these kind of digital things. But then if we just focus on the food, if you look at things like Des Rosier's, here we get it. Des Rosier. Des Rosier's peppermint. If you focus on Des Rosier oils, just one thing, if all you did was one thing today and you studied Des Rosier's essential oils, because not all essential oils are created equal. Like I said, doTERRA and Young Living set a precedent and a standard in America because Americans have to pay for their health care. Here in Britain, most people are entitled to free health care. And so they believe that what they're getting for free is actually better. But I kind of think that having paid health care is actually quite good. So I genuinely do not go to the doctor because I choose once a month to invest in building out my portfolio of essential oils. Now, the reason I don't use Young Living or doTERRA is because of that. Because I would rather invest that in more oils than paying some upline. That's just me. I don't have an issue with the distribution method if the product's good, but I want more oils for my money. And Des Rosier ticks all the boxes. And I don't even get paid for doing this. I don't get paid. I genuinely use these oils. They are amazing. And I would sell them from the rooftops. I would shout from the rooftops how good these oils are. So when it comes to cellular health, you can go to Revive Essential Oils and they show you all the network marketed oils like Young Living and doTERRA, and you can actually choose the blend that they sell for loads more money and then go and get that blend cheaper from Revive Essential Oils, which is this company, Revive Essential Oils. Now, if you're in America, Revive's better, but the thing I don't like about Revive is they take too long. They take too long, don't they, Kate? They take too long to come. So I prefer Des Rosier being in Britain because they literally use FedEx and I get them within a week. And I like Dr. Papas, and Dr. Papas made doTERRA's Hawaiian Sandalwood, which is one of my favourite oils. It's one of my favourite oils. So I would like to get some Hawaiian Sandalwood. So, because they don't sell it. They do sell an Indian sandalwood. But they do a very good oud. It's very expensive, but their oils are amazing. So, but what I was saying about doTERRA, doTERRA had a blend called DDR Prime. And that really intrigued me because I listened to their doctor, and I actually met their doctor, and I actually heard their doctor actually almost cry because of the power behind pink pepper and why you're not allowed to say what a pink pepper does. And I don't even know if I could, it concerns me that you can't say, wow, pink pepper's amazing. It helps for women. But we don't want to talk about that. I'm just itching myself here. But pink pepper is a great thing, right? It's amazing. So when I heard his presentation on DDR Prime, what was interesting for me there was it was all the individual oils that made up the cellular health blend. Have you got the Restore up there, Kate? Could you get it for me? The Restore, just up there. Now, if you listen to these ingredients, you could actually go to Des Rosier and you could collect each of these individual oils. And I will show you how I like to take my Restore, which is the same version of the cellular health blend from doTERRA for a fraction of the price, which means you can just get more oils for your money and not worry about all that other stuff. Like, so in this it's got wild orange, which just oranges and citrus alone are amazing. And so for me, I'll go like, okay, I like rosemary, right? And rosemary's in this. I like rosemary, but I'm going to grow rosemary. I'm going to eat rosemary. I'm going to use the essential oil of rosemary. I'm going to do everything I can to bring in rosemary whichever way I can, because I love rosemary. Rosemary goes into the idea behind restoration. You could call that cellular health, metabolism, but we're just saying it may be something that you might want to look at if you're considering, well, what actually is cellular health? What actually is metabolism? Ooh, why is Zish talking about restore? Ooh, because you couldn't say, you can't call it what it is, so you got to kind of leave a clue to what it is. So it's called restore. So I like this. So in there it's got wild orange, Litsi, thyme leaf, very important. Clove bud, very important. Grandmother swore by clove. Summer savory. I wish they wouldn't make the font. Nioli leaf and lemongrass. Lemongrass. I think the doTERRA one. Oh yeah, there we go. Frankincense. See, my brain is switched on. I couldn't see it because the font's so freaking small. Look, it's so small. I need an ocular. Wait there. I need my ocular. There you go. Oh, wow. There you go. There. Yes, frankincense. That's number one. Frankincense is number one. So even if all you did was focus on, okay, this month for 28 days, for 30 days, I might get that app Zish was talking about. I'm going to take frankincense first thing in the morning, maybe 3 times a day. I'm going to take some frankincense. Ooh, actually, I might go and get that Restore, because it was, how much does it cost? Not much. Here you go. Two drops. I had 2 drops this morning when I woke up, and I just had another 2 drops now, and I'm still alive. I've been taking this particular blend for years, for over a decade. It's amazing. I won't be without the oils that make up Restore and the individual oils that are in Restore. Success leaves clues. Why did doTERRA become a $1 billion industry? They must be doing something successful. And so for me, I've really enjoyed, and I've always loved essential oils. All my life I've loved essential oils. Always around lavender, always around good oils. My grandmother even comes from a place in the world where the first essential oils were used for emotional health. I think more and more people need support with emotional health today. I genuinely do. So it's worth learning about them. Right, so then as a side effect, I might be dealing with helping all ideas around inflammation. I think I am, actually. So that's my natural medicines covered. Then I like to bring in nutraceuticals, like these chi drops. I like to take these, like every day I like to take some chi drops. Chi being like life force energy. I like this particular brand, Ron Teagarden. I like his goji berries. I like a few of his products. Really like them. I bring in my chaga. I bring in my medicinal mushrooms. I bring in a few targeted nutraceuticals. That's me good to go. At the moment, I'm doing a course of some specific mushroom tinctures from a gentleman that I wanted to support. I also do North American Herb and Spice Company products because they're really clean and there's nothing extra in them, just pure herbs and natural medicines. They're amazing. I really like the company because I really respect the late Kaz Ingram that was all about oregano and chaga mushroom. And at the moment, I'm on a course of Pine Power from them and some other good things. I use their they do an amazing inflammation supplement called Inflamease. But they also do an inflammation balm, which is really, really good. And they also do an inflammation ointment that you can rub into your body. So I use the balm, I use the, just because I'm very much into body work. I really like things like qigong, I like moving my body, I like keeping myself strong. And so for me, if there's a balm called Inflamease, I might be like, yeah, I think I'm going to work with that, because I'm getting stronger every day and I want to make sure I'm just peeling back those layers. So I focus on those things, and I don't even know if I've got inflammation, but I like to bring those things in anyway. I have bone broth every evening. I have fermented foods every day. I like my egg yolks. I like my fermented foods. I like my chili sauce. I like my honey. I'm bringing in all these different things. I like my A2 dairy. I can't get enough A2 dairy. I could live off that stuff. It's amazing. So I feel that when you're looking at food as medicine and medicine as food, and then you're bringing in some analog technology, the reason I bring in the analog technology is because of the interoperability of things, like what's going on in the air, what's going on in the water, what's going on in the environment, what's going on social media, what's going on in the world, what's happened to the people, why are young people having these ailments that they never had before the boogeyman happened, what is this thing called shedding, why are people talking about these funny proteins, what is this gene editing software, why should I care, what is nanosynthetic biology, what is analog acoustic, and why am I not that bothered about digital, and really enjoying the analog and the acoustic and the slim Sperling and the antique Tesla technology. They're things that I'm interested in. And why am I interested in spiraling into the earth and feeling the electromagnetic energy of the human being that is oneself, and really grounding shit out and learning more and more and more about why I love this technology and how it opens up into other ideas. Why does it open up into other ideas? What does it open up into? Like, wow, look what we've come from. A time of truth, a time of wisdom, a time of greatness. So if I can make myself better than I was yesterday, and show up better and do things better and make life better, then I think the positive side effect of that is, if you look at this on the technology, I've got to show you this, 1 minute. Look at this. Like, look what it says on there. Look what it says. Look at that. Your auntie. Your auntie. Did you see auntie? Did you see your auntie? You know, so it's like when you start to nourish yourself at the cellular level and work on your metabolism, the positive side effects, there's these positive side effects that happen. And then you can go, oh, that may actually benefit me from bringing in the essential oils, learning about fermented foods, learning about A2 dairy, learning about pasteurized over pasteurized, learning that, you know, you're not gluten intolerant, that you're actually glyphosate, geoengineering intolerant, and factoring in all those things and thinking, right, okay, well, if I'm going to like bread, how do I make a sourdough better? Okay, if I like bone broth, how am I going to make the bone broth better? Maybe look at what is the key ingredients of that thing and start to dissect those individual ingredients. And you might think, right, okay, I want to make some bread. I want to make a bone broth. It needs water. Okay, well, the tap water that I'm using smells of chlorine and might have graphene in there, and it's all recycled, and God knows what else is in there. So maybe I should look first at how I can make my water better. If you like sourdough bread and you've been used to getting it from a supermarket and you think it's organic and all that rubbish, well then maybe think about 1 day a week fitting into your schedule, investing in a great book by Sandor Katz or Sally Fallon and Dr. Tom Cowan, and learning about nourishing traditions and how to make a better sourdough. And then so you can find out where your local chamber is, or you can find out where your local mill is, find the local Millers Guild, find some heirloom heritage wheats or heirloom heritage, because the wheat germ is really important for you. So, or the rice bran solubles are really important for you. Like the rice bran tocotrienols is the fat that burns fat. So these things that people like, don't do them, and then you could be like, oh, I'm not doing them because they're all geoengineered. It's like, well, no, I'm still going to eat bread, but how can I make the best bread? Sort out the water, find a good miller, get the best grain, find the older grains, bring that in. Don't use yeast. You know, make it age over days. Make an amazing bread. When you come to eat it, put on slabs of unpasteurized butter. You know, enjoy it with a nice local neighbour's duck egg with like not fed soy and happy big fat yellow egg yolks, and enjoy some cracked salt and pepper and some nice things with it, some fermented foods. You know, invest in some oysters once a week, once a month. Find someone local in Britain that's got the best oysters, or find the best salmon that's coming from right up there, and they got some specific salmon going on with Jacobi Fisheries, and it's coming down to Plymouth from Soul of Discretion. Support Loving Foods. Support Hill Farm Real Food. Energy flows where your attention goes. Focus on giving that money, that energy, to those that you want to keep in the marketplace. Like, I go and see this lady now, I get my nice goat milk from her, I get my nice meat from there, and all these people was an assertive decision as an activist focused on Cash Friday. Because during the boogeyman, they made it very difficult to support small businesses. And the small businesses needed me and you to fuel them, to fuel the fire, because you can't live off Amazon and black things. You've got to really diversify, and you've got to become resilient in this fragmented world. And it's important to have nothing and be happy, and to know that when you have nothing and you're happy, now you can make great decisions on the things that actually made you happy when you had something and was happy. But now you have nothing and you want to be happy. Well, what are the things that make you happy? Some of you might have lost me there, but some of you might have followed the trail. Because I almost said something, assuming that you had a rock and the rock had a specific colour. Like, why would you want to support that when you could support a human being allowing the chicken to express its chickenness, or a pig, if you eat pig, to express its pigness, so you get the best source of bacon? I like a mantra: beef, butter, bacon. Support the best butter. I buy 16 kilos of butter every month. It's not cheap, but it's worth it, because it's survival of the fattest. What do you think? Well, anyway, there you go. That's some key caveats and notes. This is for you who asked me the question about inflammation, and may this serve you and serve those that you love and help you along your way. I don't want to drop any names. I think it was a great question, and I think some other human beings might have needed to have heard that answer today. And sometimes I'm talking to somebody and I'm thinking, this is such a great conversation, I wish I could record it. And but now I've reiterated it again, and I think these are some great suggestions on how you can create positive side effects that that maybe tackle these ideas around what is inflammation. The reason I might be talking in a funny kind of way is because you can't be direct when you're in a centralized platform, because they don't like you to be direct, even though they went direct and then create this thing called a boogeyman, which had nothing to do with a virus in the first place, because viruses don't exist, and it was all to do with financials, research, going direct. So, especially in this country now, which pretends to be a bastion of free speech, when our Prime Minister is on his best behaviour with the President of America, no judgment with either of them, but they say this country is a bastion of free speech. I know that not to be the truth. So I have to carefully craft the way that I say things so that you receive, because there really isn't anything bad that I'm saying, you know. It's like saying 1 + 1 = 2. But if you do gematria, well, that would be 11. No, it wouldn't. It would be 2, wouldn't it? 1 + 1 is 2. What does 2? Yeah, 1 + 1 is 2. So it is. Yeah, so it is. I don't even do gematria. So I'm just saying, yeah, 1 + 1 is 2. So, and then 2 doesn't really become anything else. So, you know, but anyway, but I can, right, okay. Hypothetically, you wouldn't want to say frankincense heals XYZ. You're not allowed to say that. You have to say frankincense may help XYZ. It may do that. It's ridiculous, isn't it? When the proof is in the pudding. You can see, I know from human beings that I have met, the severity of actually the benefits of what frankincense actually does. And I really wish I could say it. But we're in a very 1984 kind of scenario for us folks here in Britain. You know, Patrick, Patrick's in America, so I can exercise my free speech and call Patrick a retard. And I would allow Patrick to call me a sheepshagger. It's fine. I'm Welsh and he's a retard and we know it. We own it. Don't we, Patrick? Patrick knows what I'm talking about. It's ridiculous. You know, at least in America they can say what they like. You know, in Switzerland, I think it's even worse in Switzerland. If I called someone in Switzerland, I'm not going to even say it, but they can really do you in those countries for just saying something that I might have said as a kid, just having a laugh, because I was with the English lads and they were like, "Oh, you're a load of sheepshaggers." I was like, "Because you're Welsh." Because if you're Welsh, that's what you were called. It wasn't offensive. We just accepted it. We didn't go and, you know, we didn't go and call the police and go, "Oh, he's been offensive to me," and then I get locked up. Like the amount of people that get arrested in Britain. I've gone off on a different tangent now, but the reason I'm saying that is because some of the things I say might go over your head, but I'm trying to give you something while using this platform, because this is then going to go onto YouTube. I posted a video on how to make an anti-nano triangle, and they gave me a strike on YouTube for doing a how-to anti-nano triangle, but I think it might have been because I had Tony Pantalleresco on in the background, but that doesn't make any sense because Tony's on YouTube, so it doesn't make... Maybe he got his video out before they brought in specific algorithm things that don't like you. Patrick's Patrick agrees. All right, brother. Anyway, look, Patrick, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. It doesn't matter that I'm not bothered about how many likes I get or whatever. It's not about that. This information was shared, was requested. Now I'm going to put it onto. It's now going to go onto my. I've been shadow banned since the whole Trump thing in 2015. I've been all shadow banned. This is my second account because I called a rock a certain colour, and now people on YouTube can say it, but Zeesh is only allowed to say specific things. So one rule for them and another rule for others. So, and it makes me laugh because I'm just like little Zeesh. It's like very David and Goliath. I'm like, wow, if someone like me can have that effect, then we must be winning the battle. We must be over the enemy lines. So I've just learned I've always been quite strategic. Even the black stupid, the tourmaline should never really have happened, because I never ever wanted to be that stupid retard that was like, you know, did a post going, "I'm in Facebook jail again." I thought, what an idiot. Like, how does that help anybody? So it doesn't, does it? It doesn't. You know, you've got, if there's rules, you have to learn to navigate the rules so that your message is conveyed and reaches the people that you don't even know right now, but one day might become your friends. So you have to reach, and you have to be like an octopus or whatever. You have to be like a fungi. You have to be like the mycorrhiza. You have to be like the Internet of Everything and the Internet of Things and the Internet of Nano Things. And you have to navigate those waters. These are specific waters. And we have to navigate them and shapeshift and work the mainframe. We have to work the mainframe. We have to make each word count and each word matter. And if you don't mind, it don't matter. So anyway, enough said from Brother Zish. This was a presentation brought to you by a simple, authentic super dad. Who cares wins? We do, from our hearts to yours. And on that note, big hugs, Brother Patrick. Respect. That was fun. That was fun, brother. Copper it is. I'm gonna dig out the copper tonight, and I'm gonna get it all ready. I'm gonna watch that video and get it ready on a serious note. It's gonna be the first thing I do before I wind down. I've got 2 things I've got to do tonight, and that's on my list.